Kelly tried to look out the big window in the living room and learn how to breathe on her own. In the past, the landscape, which was made up of small, steady lights, was a source of comfort, but this evening it looked like an exhibit, very far away and hard to get to. Putting her hand on the glass, it was like she could feel the weight of the whole world. It was face down on the coffee table and her phone was all over it. The silence was more accusatory than any sound. It started out normally, like any other morning. Coffee, papers, and emails kept coming in, but by noon, the day had been ripped open like a wound. A one-time call from a medical center. She loved the sound of that little voice on the phone. "Do you remember what Mark said?" They found out something. 3 words changed the order of a room in her life. Disclosure of something is comfort that isn't real. The next scream is muffled to try and be heard. Even though Kelly tried to laugh at how silly the object was, she knew it in her heart. After the fact, she would remember that the hospital hallways smelled like cleaning, the music of rubber spirits used as a medicine paste. Every joke is weak, like bread that falls apart. Memory, on the other hand, is a nice archaeologist. You think that the titles are all that will stay with you. In reality, what you keep are facts about lint. Mark carefully tucked his hair behind his ear, and the dog was sound asleep on his shoes, maybe to help him sleep. There isn't a single picture at the beginning of the story. Instead, there are a bunch of small choices. Some facts aren't clear at first, but after being told again, they become very clear. Mark called an old friend who was still free in the afternoon. Kelly first called the kids' school, then her director, and finally the cast and crew. Every call was a slash, but it was also an attempt to fix the day's frayed ends. Kelly ran out of the studio that afternoon as soon as the news came out. It was really just a leak, one of those accidental stitches in the internet's torn fabric. She had worked on her articulations for years. Tips on how to act like a fairy and make everyone laugh on camera. Nothing a person does in practice can bridge the gap between their inner diagnosis and the public show. She felt exposed in a scary way, like the props and stage directions had been pulled out from under her. From the outside, everything looked like it was going as usual. Some people crossed the street to buy milk, someone yelled bad words at a car driver. According to the normal Kelly idea, it was a mercy. She had to wait in the car until someone got out before she could shrink to fit the moment. When she walked through the door, there were a lot of cameras around her. Not once, but several times in a short amount of time, she had been captured. She lost her cool and began to cry. Later, the picture of her that would be shared on feeds and newspapers would show her with her head down. Mascara was along the lash line on her cheek. The sadness of a normal woman who has to deal with a world she didn't choose. It was too personal and bothersome. One frame would be the basis for everything. The shot began to move on its own after it was shared. Any picture on the internet could be an invite. Some people were nice when they called. Another idea is put forward. A small group of critics made assumptions without enough proof. Disease dates, guesses about what causes them, and harsh judgments of silence. Then there were the ones that came from the heart and were full of comforting words and happy memories. A simple morning routine became a comforting haven for some during a tough week, and a funny TV show helped them laugh through chemotherapy. While on the other hand, there were trolls who knew how important privacy was and used it well. The media, who need to be constantly stimulated, kept doing what they were doing. There was a story in their search for hit and run and strong verbs. Headline writers mixed up worry with a sense of need and called it news. "This is very worrying news," one title was made bold the next day. "Hey there, Zed." One more beat. The story went by very quickly. There was a false story that spread. This math is very strange. Anyone can agree on a story about what happened based on a picture and some guesses, but news stories might not always be true. They're putting up a frame around something fragile and small. Kelly was caught up in a piece she hadn't read, but she came across as, quote, heavy. Kelly Rapa reaps a scene while crying after getting a frightening message. The prose framed her loss without her permission. The violation hurt her deeply. but it also taught her an important truth. Everyone goes through ups and downs in life, even popular people. The hospital rooms were lit by a friendly banality. By being careful and strict, the doctors showed the kind of clinical kindness that tried to build patients' trust, even though they were scared. The finding has been proven to be true. It was announced that Mark Consuelos, a popular actor and TV host, has been struck with cancer. This news is terrible and upsetting. The news shocked all his friends, his family, and the entertainment business as a whole. Kelly Ripa, his wife, broke the news on social media and in interviews, and she looked very upset. But her response was the most emotional part of the news. Fans are there for them during this very hard time because they're open about their sickness and their emotional journey. How Mark Consuelos fought his own battle with cancer. Mark Consuelos has always looked very healthy. People know him best for his roles on the soap opera series All My Children, and more recently as a co-host on Live with Kelly and Mark. Because he's so fascinating on TV and often appears on the morning talk show with Kelly and Mark, he has become a familiar and comforting figure for millions of fans. But his cancer diagnosis has turned everything upside down. And now people are realizing that even people who don't seem to get sick can go through terrible things. Even though Mark's medical information has been kept secret, hearing about his situation has helped us understand how he's dealing with it. Mark's fans are clearly putting his strength and determination to the test in ways they didn't expect. People who know him from work and personal life found the news even more shocking because he's always been known for having a positive attitude and being physically strong. What a touching part of Kelly Ripa's emotional breakdown. For many, the most moving part of the whole situation has been seeing Mark's loving wife of more than 20 years, Kelly Ripa, cry as she talks about her husband's cancer news. Kelly, who's famous for her vibrant personality and sharp sense of humor on Live with Kelly and Mark, has always been open and honest with her fans. But finding out that her husband is having health problems has been a very personal and painful experience for her. There have been talks where Kelly has talked about her sadness and worry about her husband's health. Their deepening relationship and the very real human feelings that come with being told you have cancer were shown. Her emotional breakdown comes as Kelly has had to deal with the strong emotions that come with not knowing how Mark's health is, while also fulfilling her duties as a wife, mother, and public person. "I just want him to be okay," Kelly said during a Tearful Life segment. "I'm not sure what to say about it. Our family and our lives would be so different without him being healthy. I'm doing everything I can to support him, but some days I feel like I'm going to pass out." People are touched by Kelly's pure, unadulterated vulnerability, and many of them look up to her for being strong and determined. People who have been following their story have seen how Kelly and Mark have been through this together, sharing their love, hope, and fears, and this has made their struggle seem even more real. The loving support that Mark and Kelly give each other. Kelly and Mark's unwavering love and support have been there for them through it all. Even though cancer is very hard on the emotions, a lot of people have always respected their relationship, which shows that they are partners in every way, no matter what. Even though they are facing a lot of uncertainty, Kelly said during her emotional breakdown that Mark's positive attitude has made her strong. Kelly told him, "He's been amazing. He keeps telling me that we will get through this together and that he will fight even when things get hard. He is what keeps me going." Mark has also told Kelly how much he appreciates her long-term support. "I don't know what I'd do without Kelly," he wrote on social media with feeling. "I've never met a stronger woman and I love her very much. I'm lucky to have her by my side during this difficult time and I appreciate her support very much." Fans have liked how honest the couple has been about their love and support for each other, and many have thanked them for handling this difficult time with grace and understanding.